I recently just made a video showing a new Karate Champ bezel that I made, like this one here. Um, and it's a good representation of the original arcade cabinet with a little bit of styling choices that were different just to kind of spice it up a little and make it look a little better. But the reason I made it to look that way is because if you look at these images of the actual arcade cabinet, you can see the blue styling. You can see, where I was trying to go with the imagery or whatever, right? However, in the video, I was referencing Bloodsport a lot, the film with Jean-Claude Van Damme, because, I actually really like that film. I always have. And they play Karate Champ in the film. So I thought it'd just be kind of fun and cute just to add a little Bloodsport stuff to this bezel video. However, when you go back and you actually watch the cabinet they're playing on, wait till it shows the bezel art on the set. Look at that. It's not blue. This is red. Okay? So it's like, what arcade cabinet is that? And I did some research, and based on the audio, if you listen to the audio, like listen to the fighters, Hajime, like they're speaking Japanese in the audio on the game. There's Japanese writing up here in the game, so it's like, okay, so they're playing a Japanese version of the game. So if you look for the Japanese ROM, there are two. Let's see. Come down here. There's Karate Dou, which is like basically just Karate Champ, but the Japanese version. And then you'll notice up here there's two US versions of Karate Champ that are the versus versions. Okay. Now there's another Japanese version, but it starts with the letter T actually. Maybe a lot of people aren't that familiar with it. It's Tyson. Let's go down here to TAI. Or did I pass it? Yeah, I did. Tyson Karate Dou. That's the Japanese versus version. So those are the only two Japanese versions that you're going to find. It's either Karate Dou or Tyson Karate Dou. Okay? And if you go to like Google Images and you put in Karate Dou arcade machine to see if maybe there's a picture of the red cabinet that they were playing on, and you look, nope, still don't see it anywhere at all. No red cabinet. And actually, even if you look, you see a blue one here, and this is actually would be the versus version of the US release, so I don't know why they're showing that. This, you can see English language again. This is the US version versus. So maybe nobody, in Asia took a photograph of the arcade machine ever and put it on the internet. Maybe there is a red arcade machine for the Japanese version, and there just exists no photos of it anywhere online, which is kind of crazy. But maybe that's the case. So, anyways, so I figured, well, I'm gonna have to make that red artwork myself if I want to make a Bloodsport accurate bezel. But before I give up the search, let's go ahead and look for Tyson or whatever. Is it Taison or T? Where is it? It's in the T's. Taisen. So let's search for that real quick. Taisen. All right. You can see there's artwork for it, but where's the actual arcade machine? Is it, I want to see if it's got the red side art. Nope, you just can't find it anywhere. So again, it's a mystery. You can search the internet all day long and you're not going to find that red cabinet that they're playing on. And clearly they are playing on a red cabinet. They're not playing on a blue cabinet. You can see in the film right here. And you'd think, oh, maybe it's red lighting in the film, but look at the lighting. If anything, there's blue coming off the screen, but there's no red lighting that would turn that red. Look at this. You could tell that that's red. So this cabinet exists somewhere. There's just no photos of it online anywhere. So I figured I have to make that myself. Now, another thing that was kind of a mystery to me is the actual ROM that they're playing. Now, I've played both Karate Dou and Tyson Karate Dou. Neither one of them are this. You can see here's the Japanese text. Yeah, that's fine. Here's they're speaking Japanese. They say like Hajime, and it sounds like Karate Dou, because there's actually Karate Dou and Tyson Karate Dou sound different. This one sounds like regular Karate Dou, and it actually has a stage here with all the audience members on the dojo here, just like in Karate Dou. And so you'd think that's what they're playing. However, it's like they're playing the versus version, but they're not. And then the versus version never has these three judges. It always has the one guy standing somewhere, and it starts off with some chick in between. And there isn't a stage like this at all in the versus Japanese or American version. I can't find this stage in any version of the game anywhere, where it has a blue flooring right here and blue here. I find this stage where it has yellow flooring and yellow up here, but I can't find any version of this game where it has blue flooring. So I don't know, they're playing like some custom ROM that we can't find, where it had a palette swap. So somebody who deals with providing ROMs to like good websites like Emmy Paradise needs to get in on that and see if there's a custom version ROM somewhere with a palette swap that has the Karate Dou stages and audio, but plays like the versus version. So it's a very rare version that they're playing here on a very rare machine that they're playing on here. And I thought all that was pretty interesting. And anyways, I did the best I could to try to do what I could to get an experience more like what they're doing, basically. So I went in GIMP and I just kind of tried to make a bezel that's in keeping with what we see here in this image. So I did two things. Well, first let me point something out. Open my MAME. I don't think I'm gonna have a picture here. Anyways, I noticed, see, here's the top of the screen. Let me get a way to show you better. Oops, no, I don't want the sketch pad. I want the desktop sketch. Okay, and actually, let me get a side-by-side thing going on here. See, fraps, screenshots. Was it this one or this one? Yeah, this will work for now. Okay. Open with Windows Photo Viewer. Minimize this. Okay. I don't want it to be full screen. Just because it touches the top, sometimes it expands it. Alright. There we go. Sorry that took so long, but just trying to get them side by side there. Okay. Yellow color should show up. Okay, now if you look at the top of the screen here, see, this is the actual top of the monitor, like the glass where the top ends. Up here is a plastic bezel. Alright, now if you just follow that straight across, okay, I'm sorry I can't draw very straight. Okay, there you go. So basically what I was trying to do is make it so that it cuts off right here, okay? So because this would basically be your side art, like that. That's your side art. So that's why that's what I have here. trying to match what I see in the film as the side art. Now there was two issues I ran into when doing that. One, again, there's no photos of this machine anywhere or anything like this, only in the film. And because of the lighting in the film, like, look, this guy's white, and this line I know is white right here, and then I know that this really dark color here is supposed to be this bright red. So I'm like, well, look how dark and dingy that white is, and look how dark and dingy that red is. So this mystery color, it must be actually a lot lighter in person. It's just because everything is in shadow, it's going to look a little darker. So I had to guess and extrapolate what color this really is, and the best thing I could come up with is this kind of like light reddish pink almost. And then the other problem I ran into is, you know, they don't have a white character and a red character here like most artwork. Two guys in a white gi. So I had to recolor this guy to be in a white gi. That took a while. Now finally this artwork actually here of these guys is different than anything I could find also. These guys have more detail, these guys have less detail, and I couldn't find this anywhere. Now I could have tried to draw it myself, and I would have done that, but you never get to see the full art because here Jackson's shoulder's in the way. You don't see the full character here, and over here Duke's collar or whatever, jacket's in the way. You don't see the full characters. So how would I draw it manually if I'd never seen what that artwork really looks like? And again, I couldn't find resources of it online. So the best thing I do is use this version of the artwork, which is pretty much the same, just in a different style. This is more simplistic style, and then just give them both the white gi. And then in this art on this rare cabinet in the film, they don't have the black shading. Like here you'll see a black shading right here, and some black shading right here, and some black shading right here. But over here it's just plain white, plain red. There's no black shading anywhere. So I did consider removing the shading off of this to make it match this a little bit more, but honestly I felt at that point I was being too picky, because again these characters are even a little different than these characters if you were trying to be that picky. So you know, whatever, I didn't bother to go to that point. If I ever get like find an image of the full real Red Arcade somewhere with the real characters, I'll do an exact one-to-one replica. But for now this is about as good as I can do without getting too anal on it. Anyways, but when I was making the bezel, my wife walked behind me and she goes, "Oh, you missed a spot." I was like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "This circle thing up here. It looks like a shuriken in a circle or something." She was like, "You don't have that on yours." And I was like, "That's because it's cut off. It would be up here above the monitor space." And she's like, "Yeah, but I like the circle." I was like, "Alright, fine, I'll make one with the circle." So to please my wife, I did make a version that does have the circle. Which is, do I have a picture of it? Here it is. So I made this version, where basically it's the same thing, only I shrunk it down so that the circle part, which should be way up here above the monitor space, is now visible. And she likes this version better. Personally, I like the other version better just because it's more accurate as far as, like, normally the circle you wouldn't see it, it'd be above the monitor space. But anyways, and then I went and made a crazy one just for fun, and I'll show you. Let me go ahead and launch MAME here. Alright, so here's your standard American Karate Champ. First I'm just going to launch this real quick. The volume's going to be super loud. It always starts with super loud volume. Anyways, now before I show you the new bezels, I just want you to listen to the audio in this version of the game. I'm assuming you can hear that audio pretty good. It sounds really loud in my headphones, but I'll turn it up just a hair, just in case. Alright, now see how it says practice up there in the top left in English? And notice the floor of the dojo is yellow. And when you listen to the judges speak, listen to the way that they sound. Begin. Okay, so that's a way to know you're playing the standard single player American version. Half point, full point, begin, that kind of stuff. And you got this yellow floor for the dojo and all this. Alright, now then there's, in the US version, there was the versus version. I Again, that was really sorry about that. Alright, now listen to what's different about the versus version. Hear that? Oof! That's very different sound, like they re-recorded. And look at this. This is very different. They don't have the dojo in this version. There's no dojo anywhere. And listen to the punch sounds. Poyo, poyo, and everything sounds different. It's been re-recorded, and then you don't see the three judges with the one guy sitting down in the middle talking. Instead, you got the guy standing up, and he didn't say begin or anything like that. And then the stages are very different looking, as you can see here. And you've got this girl and a standing judge. And listen to that audio. Begin. Sounds like really cheesy, you know. Half point. Sounds very Americanized. This is definitely not the game they were playing in the film. Neither was the other one, the one they were playing in the film. So now there's a second version of the versus American version. This is set 2. It's basically the same thing, I think. Let's look at it. So far it looks like the same thing. Yep, same thing. There's pretty much no difference. I'm not even sure what's different, to be honest with you. I will tell you, the difference between the single player version and these 2-player versus versions or whatever, although I think they're both 2-player, it's just, I don't know, they call these versus versions. I think the biggest difference is that oops, wrong way. There we go. The controls are smoother. The background stages are more varied. You get all these weird background stages, and there's some different moves. Like, you don't have the jumping. Like, I think there's like a missing move. I can't remember which one it is. But anyways, the biggest difference to me is that the controls are actually a little smoother. So if you just wanted to be playing Karate Champ, and you know, and you didn't care which version, you just wanted like the one that felt the best, these versus versions actually feel smoother to get your moves out. Anyways, let's move on to the Japanese versions, because we're trying to get one that is similar to the one we saw in the film. And let's see, let's go here, let's go here, here. All right. Again, listen to the sound in the game. Wazahadi. And the sound of the applause and everything. Here, Hajime a lot. Wazahadi is half point, I believe. Listen to the sound of the applause. Alright, now let's play the Japanese version. This is Karate Dou. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to show you the bezels now. As you can see, I went ahead and made a bezel that's basically just the exact film imagery, right? Because I'm a geek. If you wanted to pretend like you were just walking up behind these guys, you know, in the film, and you were playing on their cabinet. But you can also see that you got the red machine there. But yeah, I made some actual ones too. So let me go to my Bloodsport bezels. So basically, you've got these ones that I had made the other day. And then you've got the mysterious red Asian cabinet one that you can't find imagery of anywhere except for in the film. I went ahead and made those bezels. And then the one my wife likes that has the shuriken circle thing at the top. And then I made this one, which is really just as, you know, a cutout from a still image of the film. And I actually really like playing on this one. I'm such a nerd. Anyways, but listen to the sounds in this game. We're trying to find the exact same version of the ROM they played in the film. We knew it wasn't the US versions, obviously, because the audio was very different. It was like, begin. Now we have Japanese writing, so that's closer to what they were using in the film. Listen to the audio. Sounds the same so far. Yeah. It's the same exact sounds. So we know the audio is the same. We know the Japanese writing is the same. However, there's two things that are missing so far. One, look at the characters. Look at the background of the dojo. It's not blue. It's yellow. So something's different. See, the exact same audio. So we're getting close. The only thing missing is that the dojo is not blue. So how do we find the blue dojo? Maybe, and I already played through all the stages in this game, and I never found a blue dojo. Like, I never found one, and I went all the way through. So it's just not in there. Alright, so let's go to the last Japanese version. Tyson Karate Dou. Okay. And it looks just like the American Versus version. Now, the audio in this one is unique to any other one. Hajime? See how bright and cheery that sounded? And hear that, like it's a re-recording, just like in the US versions, how they did a re-recording of the muffled audio for the Versus version where it sounded more clear, very, different audio anyways. Well, they did the same thing with the Japanese version. But listen to this audio. It's not the same audio from the Bloodsport film. Listen when they kick. Claw! Claw! And then these little... It just doesn't sound right, right? You know what I mean? It's not the same thing. And look, there's only the one judge there. So this isn't right either. This isn't accurate to the film. Because watch the film again compared to what we were just witnessing there.
You want to go at it again, huh?
Yeah. And tell me which version this looks like most to you and sounds most like to you. Obviously not the Tyson Karate Dou. Obviously not the Japanese Versus version. This is actually regular Karate Dou, but with a palette swap to give it a blue floor. That's the only thing that's different, is the color of the floor. The judge is the same, the sounds are the same, everything's the same, but the floor is blue. So not only can you not find the rare red cabinet anywhere online, but you can't find the rare palette swap version with a blue floor anywhere online. So more questions than answers after trying to make a Bloodsport accurate bezel. I'm left with more questions than answers. But right now this is as close as you can get, is to play the Japanese version of Karate Champ, not the Versus mode, and using this bezel right here. Or if you wanted using the, if you didn't want to be that much of a nerd, you could use like this one. But hear how much better it sounds. At least with this version, it sounds just like the version in the film. Wait to see what he does. Oh, I missed. There we go. So anyways, there you go. Let's see if I can kick this pot. Oh no, I pressed up, but I thought I was pressing up plus back. I was a little off on my analog stick. Anyways, so you see what I've been trying to do here. It's like a quest to make a more Bloodsport authentic bezel. And in my quest, basically, I realized that there's no imagery of the machine they were playing on anywhere online, and there's no version of the ROM they were actually playing with the palette swap. Now I tried to see if there's a way to do the palette swap myself in game. Like if you go to like dip switches, it's not in there. Also, the version they're playing only has normal and hard. There's no easy mode like the American versions, just to let you know. They take their fighting games more seriously in Japan. Although I think the Tyson Karate Dou Versus version has an easy mode. But look, there's no way to change it in here. And there's a button to do palette swap somewhere. Is it F7? No. No. Not that. F6, no. There it is, F4. It says palette. And there's no way to manipulate this though. Here's their palette, and somehow they just in the it's like a hack version maybe that they were using in the film. in the version of the film, the floor was blue instead of yellow. So basically, if you could swap the yellow palette of that floor, which is looks like it's in D row 20 or 30 over there, D20, D30. That's the color of the floor basically, or like CFO, whatever. They swapped that for like a standard blue, like a 110 or an A20. Anyways, somehow they did that. I can't figure it out. So there's no way to get a perfect like film representation, but this is about as close as I could get. So as you can see, side by side, here's, let me shrink this up just a hair. Okay, side by side. On the left is a screenshot from the actual film. Okay. And on the right is as close as I could manage to get. It is the same version, it sounds the same, but the floor is not blue. I don't know, there's no version of this where the floor is blue. Also, the screen is angled away. See how it starts? Here's the bottom corner, and if you go straight up, you end up here. But look at, here's where it really ends up. So there's like a foreshortening effect because the monitor is tilted away. Yeah, if you know what I mean, like it's like leaned back. And in MAME, there's no way to set the actual game image to where it appears as though it's leaning back and away from you, right? To get that same tilt angle, or else I'd set that as well. So that's why right here on the side and right here on the side you have just a little bit of like sloppiness as far as that goes. But I tried to blend it as best I could. So anyways, for you super diehard Bloodsport geeks out there, like such as myself, maybe y'all can appreciate the work here I'm trying to do to make a more accurate Bloodsport bezel, and to get search for the accurate Bloodsport ROM. Yeah, I'm such a Bloodsport geek that I actually went and tried to make my own stupid Bloodsport abridged movie.
Not this guy again. Excuse me, but don't you need a shower?
See, like
What's your problem?
Creepy guy trying to peek on him.
This is your nutsack. Well, if you do peek at me, this is your nutsack.
Salute. Where's Drooks?
He was in the gym, like you said. He took a shower. I tried to get a peek. He disappeared.
What do you mean he disappeared?
One minute he was naked, next minute he was gone.
Jesus Christ, if anything happens to that naked man, get Hellman and Rollins on this right away. I don't want to see your face again until Duke's naked ass is beside it. Understand?
Ah, jeez, the things I do for money. These booty calls. Ah, Jesus.
Anyways, yeah, that's how much of a Bloodsport nerd I am. I do stuff like that in my free time. So, but anyways, if anybody has any information on how to get this blue floor version, or if anyone has a photograph or evidence of the red cabinet, the elusive red Asian cabinet, let me know, and I'll definitely be interested in that. Thank you.